Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying with your Misiura. Today I'm going to tie a black-nosed dace. I believe I had it up before, but for some reason I deleted it, so I'm going to do it again. And this is an old school fly here, an old school streamer. And just to show you how much the materials have changed, you'll see in this video. But I have this is a 5X streamer hook, and this is a size 10. And I'm going to use black thread, since it's a black nose dace. And we're going to put that base of thread down to the back there. I'm not going to worry about getting it tight wraps. And when I get to the back here, I'm going to tighten it up there. Break that off. Now for the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put on the tail. And this just shows you one of the old school materials. This is red wool yarn, and that is what the tail is going to be. And this is, I believe there's that's a 3-strand right there. So I'm going to actually take that apart a little bit. I'm going to go down to a 2-strand. And that tail from the position of just past the hook point, you can make it just to the back bend of the hook there. And then leave enough material in front so that you could keep the body level. I'm actually going to snip off just a little piece of this, because I don't want it too thick at the front. So we're just going to tie this in. And I'm going to take this right up to the front. And now I can go a little bit tighter on the wraps. But still, you still don't have to have them touching. Just in the back there to secure it. And I'm just holding it on top as I'm going here. And if you'd like, you could give it one more up and down open wraps. Now that's not going to go anywhere. And I'm going to bring my thread about 2 eye lengths from the eye of the hook. Now for the body, again, this book is probably 30 years old at least, but it's asking for embossed silver tinsel. But what I'm going to use, this is actual metal, silver metal tinsel. And you can see it's a lot more rigid than the tinsel that we get today that's made with mylar. I'm going to tie this on in the front. And I'm going to put a half hitch in there, or throw a whip finish in there. And I'm going to move my bobbin cradle into position. And this way I'll be able to rotate my vise in order to wrap this. Gonna hold that. There we go. And you want to try to overlap it slightly. We want to get this tight. And I can see already it's already not staying overlapped. But this is one of the reasons why we start at the front, we go back, and then come forward again. So that if you do have spaces, then you'll be able to cover them with your pass towards the front. And yes, I actually kept some spaces in there purposely. Keep that tight because you don't want it coming apart on you. And we're keeping those wraps nice and tight, overlapping, and right here was a bad spot on the first wrap. I'm going to go by hand on this spot, so I might have to go back over it. And this is a good example of why you want to keep that tag end of your tail long. I cut that a little bit short, and right there, that bad spot, that happened because there was a step. There was a thicker spot going down through the bare shank. I'm going to bring this right up. Then we're going to tie that off. One thing about the bobbin cradle, it gets in your way because you don't want it free floating. And we're just going to trim away that tinsel. I had about a foot I started with, and I got about 3 inches left here. And now we're going to go to our deer hair, and the first color deer hair is going to be white. And we're going to, oh, got one that's got to come out, that one right there. We're going to measure this. We're going to make it, yeah, almost 1.5 the length of the hook shank. And we'll hold it, give it a loose loop. Give it about 3 turns. And we'll take this and trim off the excess. Make sure everything stays on top. And now the next one will be a black bucktail. And another example, way back in the day, they couldn't get black bucktail. They really didn't, there wasn't a lot of people that dyed them. So it's actually in the book, it says black bear hair. One bad one, and we're going to put these right on top of the white, and we're going to make them just the same size, and I'm going to come back on them just slightly but not tight. And you see now the white was standing up, and now because I went back just slightly, we got a better lay down, and then we'll tighten them up towards the front. And now for the third color is brown bucktail, and again, they didn't have dyes once again, so they just used the natural brown. But we're lucky that we can get a brown bucktail. This is a darker color. Yeah, we're gonna remove those, pull them out. And we're going to size them up right to the next one, to the previous. And we're going to tie those in. And let me get it a little bit out. There we go. And I'm going to tighten it here. I don't want it to roll like it rolled there a little bit. There we go. And we're keeping it tight. I'm going to get a little bit lighter or a little less tight on the back. There we go. So that back section is not as tight, and that keeps it flat. Keeps it from flaring. And we'll trim off the excess. Tie that head up. This is a good fly for the winter time. Go back a little bit. Lost a couple of hairs there. And we're going to take our whip finish. I got one hair sticking out the side here. I'm going to burn that off. Just hold everything with my fingers and touch the lighter flame to it. Take some head cement. Take that right around. And now here, of course, you can modify this, but this is the original black-nosed dace. But you can modify it by maybe putting a throat on there if you want, but this is the most simple, simplistic way to go with it. The traditional way. And once again, like I said, the materials that we have today, they're not necessarily superior and they're not inferior either, but there's just something sometimes about making it the old school way. It has an appeal to a lot of people. So here we have a black-nosed dace. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope that you would subscribe to my channel. Please refer me to your friends. Please visit my sponsors and let them know that I sent you. Leave comments, questions, suggestions. If you'd like to purchase any flies from me, go to etsy.com/shop/theflymanjim. And if you don't see it there, just send me a message on Etsy. I'll get right back to you and we'll figure out what you want. And most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.